Hello, my name is Jason J. Rock Houston. You guys are listening to interview me tonight for Under the Influence. My great pleasure to be speaking with lead singer Jason Tosta from the Los Angeles-based Doors tribute band Strange Days. How you doing tonight, Jason?
Doing great, Jason. How are you?
I gotta say, I love that name, but in all seriousness, could you share with us, Jason, how you first got into the music with Doors and became a Doors fan yourself?
Well, when I was 8 years old, my mother had the LA Woman record album, and I took it one day and listened to it and actually kept it, never gave it back. So I was just haunted by the music at that age. It wasn't really what he was saying. It was more the music and the hauntingness of his voice. And I just was hooked. And from that point forward, I've just been a huge fan and just devouring everything Doors.
And now, aside just from getting turned on to the Doors music, I got to ask you, is that kind of that album LA Woman? Is that kind of an album you hold up like anytime you hear any type of music? I mean, that's kind of, I guess, the album that really had the greatest influence on you.
Well, I mean, I definitely love that album. After I listened to the entire catalog, I think the first album is probably the one that probably means the most in terms of just incredible track to track consistency of being an amazing album. But I would say it's probably fair that I hold the first album up probably against everything I listen to.
Wow. And I gotta say, the Doors is a very interesting band because, of course, there's no doubt what a great catalog of music they got, but they were also all four of them very well educated guys, not just in music, but I mean, I understand Ray and Jim met at UCLA when they were going to film school, and people say what a great songwriter Jim was, but he was really more of almost a poet, and his music was many people would say like almost poetry. So it's kind of interesting that he's had that kind of influence in the rock community.
Well, I mean, each one of them was very eclectic. Ray was probably just the most trained musician out of all of them. Robbie was a flamenco guitarist, and John was a jazz drummer, and Jim was a word man.
Yeah.
So put them all together, and you have probably I think the most eclectic band, individual by individual, ever maybe. And they together created this lightning in a bottle that I don't think anyone else has really done in that way.
And I got to ask you, Jason, do you remember what was the first Doors song that you actually learned how to sing?
The first one I learned how to sing. Well, the first one I think the first one that I ever sat there and sang along with was probably "Light My Fire."
Yes, that's
boring but true.
Yeah. That's one of the songs that a lot of people get turned on to when they hear the Doors first time, like "Light My Fire," "Break On Through." And now I was curious, the movie that Oliver Stone put out with Val Kilmer playing the role of Jim Morrison. Were you at all a fan of that movie? What did you think of the movie?
I saw it, the day it came out back in '91, and I had already read pretty much everything I could get my hands on regarding the Doors and Jim Morrison. So when I saw the movie, I have to admit I was let down. It was just kind of made him look bad, and I think that he had his demons and his problems, but in between there, he had some magic and some things about him that I think that Oliver Stone ignored for sensationalistic purposes. So, and also it was basically about Jim Morrison. I mean, the Doors were barely in it.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have just called the movie Jim.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't really about them. So I was let down. But then luckily, a few years ago, the documentary "When You're Strange" came out, and that's just all real footage of the Doors, and it's incredible. And that made up for it.
And is that something that was authorized by the band members themselves, or is that something that somebody else put out?
Well, they all. I think all the surviving members, Ray, Robbie, and John, were involved in it. I know Tom DeSillo, I believe, was the director, who's a very accomplished director, and I think that Jim's family was also very involved because they had footage in that movie that had never been really released before.
Wow.
And it was amazing footage from the movie Jim made called Highway.
Wow.
And it was very quality footage. Actually, it's funny. A story I heard is that when they showed the movie at a film festival at Cannes, some reviewers walked out saying, "Wow, how dare they cast somebody as Jim Morrison?" They didn't realize that really was him.
Wow.
The footage looked.
Wow. And I got to ask you, just being a Doors fan, when that documentary was released, is it just something you wanted to check out as a Doors fan, or did somebody kind of turn you on to it?
No, I knew it was coming, and it actually had a very limited theatrical run, and I actually went and saw it in the theater, and I loved it. I mean, I was really just, it's what I wanted, all these years, like, I want a really good document of the Doors, and I really liked it a lot, so I definitely tracked it down and felt really good afterwards, because I just felt up to that point, it just wasn't, the story wasn't really told in a way I enjoyed it, so
yeah.
It's
so,
I'm very happy that they did it.
Do you know, is that something people can get on DVD?
Yes. Eagle Rock Entertainment puts it out. It's great. It's great Blu-ray. I got it on Blu-ray.
Oh, we'll have to check that out now. It's quite a experience. Seeing something like that, in your own living room. But as a fan, what's it like seeing a film like that, on the big screen?
Oh, it was just. It was awesome. I mean, to see the quality of the footage, because I'm a guy that I've watched all the silent loops, the 60mm, 8mm loops of Jim Morrison from back in the day from concert goers. Very bad quality, but still you can kind of see everything. And I've watched all that stuff, and and I actually had a bootleg of the movie Highway, and it was really bad quality. So to see like this beautiful footage from it, I was like, wow. And to know that they used all found footage, all footage of them back then, nothing now.
Yeah.
So the whole movie, it almost feels like you're, with them. There's narration by Johnny Depp, but it's pretty awesome experience to watch. I enjoyed it a lot.
And now I know a few years ago they released like a live DVD of the Doors live at the Hollywood Bowl. I imagine you've had a chance to see that as well.
Yeah, very, very, very pleased with that too. I mean, they had the "Hello, I Love You" was never on the original, and they didn't have a really good audio source for that, so they kind of pieced things together, and they did a really great job. So it's definitely a wonderful document to have too. So I'd say as a Doors fan, there's a lot of really good gems out there to check out on Blu-ray. And
now, it's no doubt that you're such a huge Doors fan, but I'd like to now get into talking obviously about your band Strange Days. Now, from what I understand, the band was formed about 5 years ago, and this is an existing project you kind of joined. So you want to talk a little bit about how you first got involved with Strange Days?
Cool. Yeah. Basically, 5 years ago, I was looking on Craigslist under gigs. I was recently out of a band that was a cover band that was pretty terrible, so I basically was like, well, let's see what's going on. And I saw a Doors tribute band looking for temporary vocalists. So I said, well, that sounds kind of something that's up my alley. So I responded, and I got no response for like 3 days. I figured, well, they must have found somebody. So then on the fourth or fifth day, I got a response from one of them saying, hey, make sure you come down, come jam with us in a week, and make sure you know the lyrics. Bring the lyrics with you, because everybody who's come so far doesn't remember the lyrics, and all this kind of stuff. Like, they didn't know who I was, so I was like, okay, well, whatever. So I showed up, and it was the drummer, the guitar player, and the keyboard player, and we jammed for about an hour and a half, and it went really well. And I figured, wow, I was just stoked to do it. I just wanted to play music, so I was excited. They had a singer that was in Philadelphia, I believe, at the time, who was going to move out here. And about 1 hour after I finished the rehearsal, the drummer called me up and said, "Hey, would you like the gig?" And I go, "You mean like play a gig with you guys?" He's like, "No, would you like to be the singer?"
Wow.
I said, okay, yeah. And then that was it. I started it.
So did you actually have to go and audition for the band? I mean, before you played the first gig, and if so, like, did you just go down there with a list of songs that you wanted to play, or did they tell you these are the songs we want you to know?
Well, they gave me. When we did the temporary rehearsal, they gave me a list of songs, and I knew them, and then we went beyond that. We played them so fast that the they were like, well, what else do you want to do? I said, well, I know this, I know them all, so just start playing. So we started playing. The only thing I did do was I altered the order of the songs because they had some songs that were kind of tougher on the voice, like screamier songs first. So I altered some of the set list to be so that I could get warmed up before we played those closer to the end. So, but other than that, no, that was the audition. The audition was just showing up to temporarily play with them once, and that was it. They're like, you got it. So.
And what do you think it was that really impressed them the most about you? The fact that just not only you were able to nail all the songs, but the simple fact that you knew the lyrics.
Well, I mean, I think that they didn't really have any idea who I was when I walked in. I mean, I was a big fan. I think they had four or five other guys that they couldn't get through but two songs, and they were forgetting lyrics, and it was really kind of upsetting to them. So they really didn't have any idea, and they were surprised. I think the first thing was, wow, this is surprising. And I was just excited. I mean, I was over the moon because these guys, they were good. So I was like, wow, this is really good.
Yeah. And of course, when you're auditioning or even at a rehearsal, it's a much different thing than playing before a live audience. So I got to ask you, how many weeks was it from that time you auditioned and rehearsed with the band till you guys played your first show together?
It was 2.5 weeks.
Wow. And so were you guys like non-stop rehearsing, or what was that process like getting ready for that first show?
We had 2 rehearsals beyond that, and then I spent a real large amount of time trying to locate an outfit because I never really thought about dressing up or anything. I just wanted to play with these guys once. So I had to go down Melrose, and I ended up locating most everything that I used back then on Melrose, getting all the different shops, and I got lucky and picked up things. But over the years, the outfit has been definitely something that's evolved because I found pieces here and pieces there that I put together to make the outfit that I wear now. But that's the toughest part, was finding the outfit. Making like a look like Jim, and then playing the first time was absolutely terrifying because I'd never really done something like that before. I'd sang in bands, been in my own band, but I'd never done something where I'm trying to kind of put the vibe across of somebody else, and especially someone like a legendary like Jim Morrison. So I was very nervous about it, and the show went pretty well. But I think I'm fair to say I think I do it a little bit better now than I did then.
Yeah. So after that first show, let me ask you: by the time you guys had hit the stage, had you already pretty much been told, okay, you're in the band, or was that kind of a show that sealed the deal where the other guys said, okay, I think we want you to stick around more than just being our temporary guy?
Well, they offered me the gig. I mean, they definitely was going to be in the band. I think even if they didn't like what I did, they would have kept me around because I knew all the songs. They probably would have kept me around until they found somebody else. But I think that a few songs into the first show, I think they were like, this is pretty good. And I had a lot of ambition about how to make things better and equipment wise and some of the arrangements. I had ideas about how to make them better, and we just kind of came together really quickly, and it turned into something really fun, like really quick. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of interesting that you mentioned that you come from right before you were in this band, that you were in a cover band. Now, a cover band is, it's kind of doing other people's music, but it's a little different in the fact that, compared to like what you're doing with Strange Days, which is, you're playing music from paying tribute to the Doors in this sense, all one band. A cover band, you could be playing like, Deep Purple, Elvis Presley, Bon Jovi, Tom Petty, any number of different tunes from different bands. So once you got in Strange Days, is this something that you really thought you could get behind? It's much easier probably playing material from one band as opposed to 10 different bands.
Well, I mean, I think that the tribute scene and the covers, being a cover band or a tribute, there's like pros and cons. The pros of being in a cover band is there's really no B-sides. You're playing hit.
Yeah.
You're playing hits from all these different bands. You get to pick and choose. But you're not really, you're kind of just generic.
Yeah.
Because you can't be, Bon Jovi and Ozzy and AC/DC all together.
Yeah.
You're just basically yourself doing these different things. So I think a cover show is totally different. With the pros of a tribute show is that it's an experience that lasts the whole show. Like, you're playing one band's material, you're attempting to put across a vibe and an experience of seeing that one band. But the negative, or not negative, but just a downside from the tribute scene is that basically you're playing that band's music for 90 minutes or 2 hours, and in there's going to be a few songs that aren't the big hits.
Yeah.
And I think that most fans are very, very cool with that. But I think that there's always that fear that people are going to go, I don't know that one, and get kind of not bored, but just kind of tune out. But we've been very lucky. I mean, our set lists are pretty well thought out, so we're pretty lucky in that way that people don't they like our set list pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, and what a great catalog of music the Doors have. And I was talking to you the other night. Think to me when you consider the fact that Jim Morrison, died relatively, at a young age. So when you consider that the fact that music has lasted, all these years, it's really stood the test of time. I really think it's a testament to him and the other guys in the band, songwriters and musicians, that music has stood the test of time all these years. There's something to be said for that.
No, there's totally something to be said for that. I mean, I think that the Doors is one of those bands that's just a quintessential American rock band. I mean, I think that they were a very strong representative of us back in the late '60s in terms of the scene. I mean, the Doors were huge, and they still to this day have a very huge grip on popular culture. But the thing about it is that it wasn't just the music, but it was the way that they worked together. In fact, Robbie Krieger, the guitarist, never gets a lot of credit. He wrote a lot of the songs. I mean, he wrote "Light My Fire," he wrote "Love Her Madly," "Touch Me." I mean, he wrote a lot of songs. So it was the way that they worked together, and I think that in the chaos that was going on at that time, the Doors really have an incredible catalog for the amount of pressure and how they had to turn albums out, quick. Their albums, they stand the test,
Yeah,
definitely.
And all those tunes that we've been talking about, you just mentioned "Touch Me" and "Love Me," "Love Her Madly," "Break On Through," "Light My Fire." These are all songs we've heard countless times on the radio. But then you put that up against something, and those are much more, I consider much more like almost pop tunes compared to something like "The End," which is almost like as great of a song as it is, it's almost like a poem put to music. And I could see where you're saying, people might hear a song like that who've never heard, a song like "The End" before, and they're like, oh, what the heck is this? But at the same time, what you guys are doing, you're turning people on to stuff like that, that they might not have ever heard before.
Well, I like to think.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, we don't do this for the money.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do this for money. I do this because I'm a big Doors fan, and I'm hoping that when people see us, that they get turned on to the Doors. Maybe, I mean, you can always listen to the songs on iTunes or Spotify or whatever, but when you see a band doing it, live, it kind of maybe sticks with you a little bit, and you want to go out there and buy some of their songs or buy some of their things or learn more about them. So I kind of look at us as we're like a rock and roll Jehovah's Witness group. We go out and we knock on doors and we present, the Doors mantra, and hopefully people either accept it and say, wow, okay, and buy into it, or we just move on to the next house. That's how I kind of see it. Rock and roll missionaries in a way. We just try to go out and entertain people, and hopefully they love the band. I mean, that's why we do it. I don't do it for monetary or anything.
Yeah, I love that attitude, and the thing about it is like we were talking earlier. You're a fan of this music first, so you were the guy that at one point was buying the Doors records. You were a guy that was in the audience, so to speak, and then you jumped up on stage and you're playing these tunes now. And the greatest way I can put this is, I had the pleasure of speaking to this guy that's a drummer in a Nirvana tribute the other day, and he was telling me, he says, we're not trying to fool anybody into thinking we're Nirvana. We're not, we're just keeping the legacy, we're keeping the music alive, so to speak. He says, unfortunately there'll never be another chance to see Nirvana live because, Kurt's no longer here. But he goes, somebody coming to one of our shows, they might get the experience to see what a Nirvana show was like. And to me, that's kind of what this is all about. I mean, there are never obviously going to be another Doors a Doors concert, for a fact that Jim and Ray have since passed on, and so that makes that kind of hard. But you guys could kind of be the next best thing, and you can kind of show people this is kind of what a Doors show might be like if the band was still around today.
Well, I mean, I think we're younger guys too. I mean, we have like we're not we're younger, a group of guys, and a lot of people come up afterwards that saw the Doors back in the day and say, "Wow, you guys are so young. What are you doing playing this music?"
Yeah.
And it's like because it was we're called to it. We just love doing it, and I fully. I mean, the drummer you spoke to is totally right. Look. No, we're not kidding. I'm not kidding anybody. I don't even pretend to be 1% the amazingness of Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
I don't pretend to be 1%. All I'm trying to do is just, get people excited about the music and hopefully they enjoy themselves and want to investigate the Doors more. That's really all it is. It's just completely that. So I agree with him. He's, if you start thinking you're the person that you're attributing, or you're even it starts getting ridiculous. It's like there's no ego in this. I think there can't be an ego in the tribute scene. You just have to go out there and present what you're doing and honestly, and hopefully people appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean it's that's the interesting thing about talking to you, Jason, because it's quite obvious that you weren't around back in the day when the Doors were first getting off the ground, so to speak, and so you got turned on their music much later on, and that's what makes this a lot more authentic to me, because I like to call this like rock and roll, these tribute bands like rock and roll theater in a sense, because like you said, you're kind of playing a role, you're getting dressed up in the part, but you could cast a guy as Jim Morrison in a movie and stuff and he doesn't even necessarily have to be a fan of Jim Morrison or the Doors, but it would not, to me, even that would not come across as authentic as a guy like you doing what you're doing, because you're actually a fan of the music. So it's more than you just getting paid to do a role playing a musician that maybe that you weren't even influenced by. You know what I mean? So that's why it comes much more across authentic to me what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, every time we get a chance to play, I just consider myself lucky. I mean, the fact that when we get to go out and play these songs in front of people, I just feel so lucky. I'm like, wow, this is great. Like, we get to do it again. So every time is almost like the first time, and I think that's what makes it fun. And I definitely feel like when we do this that it's like an evolving process. Like every time we play, I don't really plan anything. I just kind of go out there and kind of let's see what happens. Play off the crowd and play off what's going on, and see if this little thing works or if it doesn't work. And, definitely use some Jim stuff from like the bootlegs and things like that, but a lot of it is just kind of like playing off the audience, and that's something I never even thought I could do. I never thought I could really try to be like that. I thought I would be too scared, but it's fun. It's really fun to go out there and kind of play off the energy of the audience and just kind of get into it, and it's really fun. So I've kind of learned a little bit about myself doing this, weirdly enough.
Yeah, and interesting enough, people that were around Jim Morrison and guys that were actually play with him in the band, like Ray and Robbie, I've heard in interviews over the years, they would say one thing about Jim was like he was totally nothing he did was planned or choreographed. He would do a performance and just whatever came into his mind, or just he was so in the moment, and that's what made him such a great performer.
I never heard that, but I would believe it. I mean, when you watch him, I mean, it's with Jim, it's always the nuance. He was very nuanced. I mean, if you were really, really far away, you might miss what he's doing. But when you see, up close what he's doing, every little move, every little twitch, every little thing, it's like an experience.
Yeah.
And I definitely, don't pretend to do that amazingly, but I definitely, know his mannerisms and things like that, and I do my best to kind of give, as organic a shot at it as possible with what I have to work with,
Yeah, I mean, I guess the point I'm trying to make is like, a lot of bands like even do what you do, they might have a certain set list, or we're going to play the songs in this order and stuff. And from what I understand, when this guy would go on stage, he wouldn't necessarily have anything planned out. He would sometimes, they'd rehearse, and sometimes he just wouldn't want to do a song. He'd burst into another song, and they'd have to kind of follow his lead. And that's, I guess, what people kind of loved about him. He just kind of was, went by his own rules, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, well, we try to give what I would classify as like a more like a real refined performance.
Yeah.
Rarely will I ever like cut the band off.
No.
And try to do it too much like that. Usually, I'll just we usually run through the songs, but we'll change the order and we'll take suggestions from the audience, of course, and things like that. But yeah, nothing we do is really planned. I mean, we go out there and we know how long the set has to be, and everything else is from there.
Yeah, and again, like I was saying earlier, Jason, I love tribute bands like what you guys do, because to me it's great rock and roll theater. And again, you're not kidding yourself, but you're Jim Morrison. But the great thing, I love the fact that a band like Strange Days, you dress up a part as Jim Morrison. I mean, I gotta tell people, sitting here listening to this interview, that I've never been to one of your shows, but I gotta tell you, going on your Facebook page and looking at the photos you guys have up there, it makes me want to go and see you guys, for the simple fact that if I didn't know Jim Morrison and Ray Manzarek had passed away and the Doors were no more, I might think, if you were a little bit older, that you were the real thing. You guys look that good. You dress the part. And then some videos I've seen of you guys, you really sound like an authentic Doors band. So I think you guys have got your craft down, and the great thing about doing what you guys do, you might take somebody back to the first time they heard Light My Fire or Break On Through on the radio for the first time, or maybe first time somebody's seen the Doors in concert, or something like that. And that's a magical experience if you can do that for your audience.
Well, thank you. That we definitely try. That the costuming is definitely part of the experience. I feel in this day and age with the tribute scene that people are paying good money to come and see you, and I feel like the costuming is in a way kind of a necessary evil. People want to see an experience, like you said. It's like theater. So you want to provide them as close. If they're sitting in the back and they've had a few too many drinks and they're kind of squinting, they might kind of believe it. And that's kind of what you're trying to do. People are putting their hard-earned money down. So that's kind of the reason why we do it. We just want to be as complete, as best we can with what we have. And yeah, the best part of this is when people afterwards who are older come up and say, "I saw the Doors live in 1968, and it was a great experience, and you guys really, really brought me back." And it was, we've had Vietnam vets come up to us and talk to us about how the music got them through the war, and it's been pretty amazing, like some of the people we've met and talked to, and that's probably one of the best parts about this too, is meeting all these fans and people that love the Doors so much like we do.
And see, the thing about a band like Strange Days is also like I said, it's more, you're giving your audience a little more than just four guys in their jeans and t-shirts playing the Doors music. It would not be the same experience. Trust me. And I don't know that that's a show that I personally would want to go see. And so and the fact that you guys are doing the Doors the Doors music, you've already kind of got a built-in audience for this. So that's what makes this so much fun for the audience, I think.
Well, we've been really lucky. It's been a process, and it's been a fun and just absolutely mind-blowing process. But it's had some major landmarks for us. We got to perform with. I performed with Robbie 5 times.
Wow.
And with my band, we played with him 3 times. And one of those shows, he played a 15-song set with us in LA, and it was absolutely incredible. It was unbelievable. To get to play with someone like him and get to play with the bass legend Phil Shen, who was in the Doors of the 21st Century, and Rod Stewart's band. And then we got to play with Chris Wise from Owl and Ace Frehley Band and the Cult, and just played with some amazing people. Ty Dennis from the Doors of the 21st Century. Got to play with these amazing musicians. We're so lucky. And it's because I think we're doing something right, and it's fun. And then we just scored a South American tour, 3 countries, 13 shows, starting on July 15th. So we're absolutely just we're pretty blessed.
And then I understand that talking about the South American tour, that that opportunity actually came your guys' way because one of the guys in Strange Days, he used to be the sound man for the Doors of 21st Century. So, I mean, how did he ever get involved? Get an opportunity to be the sound man for them?
Well, our guitar player Robert Carson, he actually has been a sound man for I think around 20 years,
wow,
25 years, and he was the sound man for like the Cranberries and the Cult and Berlin, a lot of different
wow.
carrying on from Berlin, and basically I think that his relationship with the Cult got him the ability, because Ian Astbury for a while was singing with the Doors of the 21st Century, and I think that's what got him that gig. And he's been mixing for maybe more than 30 years. He's just been doing it for a really long time. And he actually, crazily enough, Robbie got sick back in, I believe it was 1998, and or was it 2006, I believe, 2006, yes, in Barcelona, Spain. He actually stepped in for Robbie and played a whole show with Ray and Ian Astbury and Ty Dennis on drums and Phil Chen. So he actually played an entire show in Barcelona, Spain with the Doors of the 21st Century at guitar. So it's pretty amazing.
Wow, how cool is that? Now, I got to, of course, ask, what did you think about the Doors of the 21st Century? Did you ever get a chance to check them out live or anything? Or, what was your opinion of that project?
I got to see him, I believe, I think it was the fifth or sixth show they ever did together when they had Ian Astbury singing, and I was a big fan of it. I thought that I thought it was great. I thought hearing Ray and Robbie play together was something I'd always wanted to hear, and it was amazing. And Ian did a great job, and Ty did a great job on the drums, and Phil Chen on bass. And I just think it was a great experience. And when I saw them, they had I think the Brotherhood of Sound was this old 60s visuals company, and they were doing the visuals behind them. These amazing visuals. So it was a real experience. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, actually. I'm glad they did it. Especially now knowing that Ray's no longer around or with us. It's great that he did something to help keep the fans current with the Doors all the way until the end. Basically. Yeah,
and I think they were smart in the sense that rather than coming out and trying to call themselves the Doors and pretend like they were replacing Jim Morrison. This was a much smarter way of doing it. It's more like to me, it's more almost like Robbie and Ray putting together like an authentic tribute to the Doors. And who has more right to pay tributes to the Doors than they do? And the thing about it, getting a guy like Ian Astbury who can definitely handle the material, but it just goes to show not only have those songs stood the test of time, but a lot like a band like Queen. It's just these Doors songs. It's such great songs that the fact that you can find a singer of that caliber that can cover the material just shows you what truly great songs these are.
Yeah, Ray and Robbie definitely had their problems. John Desmond sued them because they were using the word the Doors in their title. Yeah. So there were a lot of drama litigiously about that.
Yeah.
But I see both sides of it. I see John's side. It's not the Doors without Jim Morrison and without John Densmore, so you can't really call it the Doors at all. Yeah. So they had to end up changing the name, and I think in the end they ended up calling it the Manzarek Krieger Band, which, I think whatever you call the band, it doesn't really matter. It's the music, and it's the fact that Ray and Robbie were involved, and we all got lucky enough to see them play together again for that amount of time. I think that's really what it's about,
Yeah, and before I let you go, Jason, I got to ask, in regards to the South American dates you have coming up, is this the first time you guys have played, out of the country or anything like that?
Well, the only other time we played in Mexico in our second year, and it was a fun show. But this is the first time we've actually flown out of the country, and we're doing a date in Chile, a few dates in Paraguay, and then 9 dates in Brazil. So we're going to be all over the place. Well,
that must be that's quite the accomplishment, because a lot of tribute bands don't get outside their little local area. So I gotta say congratulations on that, because and then there are other bands like Iron Maiden's out here in LA that are great female Iron Maiden tribute, but the thing about them is they've been doing it since the early 90s, and they've taken their show worldwide. They've been places like Germany and I think Japan and Russia, and they've done shows for the troops. So again, if you've got a band that's got the talent in that, even being a little tribute band from Los Angeles, there's no telling how far you can take this thing.
Well, yes, the Iron Maidens have been all over the place. They're great. I mean, we're very lucky. I mean, we've traveled for the past 3.5, 4 years. We've traveled the country pretty extensively, and we've gotten to play a lot of places. And but this international thing is definitely definitely I think from the beginning this has been a big goal for us, is to try to take it outside of the United States. And I think we finally have this opportunity, and forward to getting out there and going down and showing them what a little Los Angeles tourist tribute band can do.
Yeah. Well, I'd be interested to see how those dates come out now. Any chance you guys will be filming any of those shows? Even just for your own purposes.
Yes, I would believe we're going to be posting stuff on our Facebook page probably while we're still there. But we're definitely going to bring some video equipment, and we're going to keep everybody abreast of what's going on, because it's a once in a lifetime experience to do something like this. So we want to make sure that we document it for ourselves and for our Facebook followers.
And that must be kind of fun, not just going out of town, but like to a different country. And I would imagine, like taking the show to a place like South America, where there's a little bit of a language barrier. That makes it that much more fun, because I've heard from people that have played in other countries. A lot of the musicians I talk to, they tell me, the cool thing is, this is a place that they don't even speak English maybe, and but yet they know all the words to the song. They're putting their hands up in there, and that's got to just be a great feeling, because it just goes to show you, music really is the universal language, so to speak, that can bring people together.
Definitely, and Latin America, South America, they love the Doors.
Yeah.
love the Doors music down there. So I mean, I know there's a lot of tribute bands that are down there doing this. I believe, but we're going to come down there and we're going to have this rare opportunity to play for people, and you're right, hear them sing louder than we are.
Yeah.
Hear them sing the songs, and it really is such a cool thing. So like I said, I mean, I can't wait. I'm ready to get on the plane right now. So I'm very excited about it.
Well, Jason, once again, it's been great talking to you, and I could talk to you all night, but I want to thank you very much for taking time to do this. Take time out of your very busy schedule. I really enjoyed talking. Maybe we could do it again. But in the meantime, I just want to thank you for your time and say best of luck to you and the band with the South American dates, and I'll be in touch.
Well, Jason, I appreciate your time. Thanks for thinking about giving me an interview, and take care and be well.
Okay, you too, my friend. Bye-bye.